Shalom. It's Jackie Selah, your sister. I hope everybody had a good Shabbat. You got rested. You were able to get rejuvenated, able to meditate, um, and give all honor, glory, and praise to our Creator, Most High, Hawa. All right, if you're like me, what we normally do on Shabbat is we have Shabbat study, but then we like to watch videos, usually trying to watch either something to do with Indian history, but usually something to do with Yasharao history. So we'll watch some of our brothers and sisters who put out content out on YouTube. And, back in the day, man, content used to be bananas on YouTube. There was so much to watch, but now it kind of seems like that window is closing, but we still have some good ox and aquas out there putting out work. So we try to watch videos like that to just to edify, and that's basically it. So, with that being said, it made me think a lot about how important discernment is, especially in these last days, because we know Most High warned us that there are those out there who are purposely trying to mislead us, and we also have those who may not intentionally mislead us, but they do because of maybe haughtiness or pride or trying to go off their own understanding. Things like this is happening, and so it's really important for us to have discernment. And that brings me to the scripture here in Proverbs chapter 2. I wanted to refer to verse 1 through 6. And it says, "My son, if you accept my words and treasure up my commandments, if you make your ear attentive to wisdom and your mind open to discernment, if you call to understanding and cry aloud to discernment, if you seek it as you do silver and search for it as for treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Most High Hawa and attain knowledge of your power. For the Most High grants wisdom. Knowledge and discernment are their decree." Okay, so discernment, wisdom, understanding, these are things that, and knowledge, these are things that we should be asking Most High for as we keep His commandments. And it says, accept Most High's words and treasure His commandments, and then ask for these things, and this will help protect us from being misled. And so now I really just want to give you an example of how discernment will really come into play. All right, so first, wait, hold on. Etymology. Let's do that first. Let's do the etymology of discern. It means perceive or recognize the difference or distinction between two or more things. Also distinguish an object with your eyes. See distinctly. Behold. Also perceive rationally. Understand. Late 14th century from Old French discerner, distinguished between, separate by sifting, and directly from Latin discernere, to separate, set apart, divide, distribute, distinguish, perceive, and so on and so forth. So we get the point of the importance of being able to separate what did Most High say and what somebody else is saying. Can it be precepted? Are we can we have to separate the right from the wrong, the truth from the falseness? We have to sieve it through. We got to shake it out. We got to sift it. And that's why Most High said precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. When you build up that understanding, that's how you build up your understanding. That's how you build up your discernment and wisdom. Um, so now let me go ahead and show you an example of when discernment would come into play. When I say fair use, this is just commentary. I'll go to this video here. This is called the second Exodus. And I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. All right, here we go.
Now, this part in verse 6, I get so much feedback, negative feedback. So before I read verse 6, let me make something clear. I'm not telling nobody to leave or stay. This is the scripture which I did not write. So this is what thus saith the Creator. Flee from Babylon. Escape with your lives. Do not be destroyed in her punishment. Now, the first time I did a lesson on fleeing from Babylon, I had both Christians and some of our own people with some of the worst feedback that I've seen in the past 15 years. I don't know if it's because of their situation or fear, because they can't leave, or who knows what the case might be. But their reaction was unjustified, and they acted as if though I wrote this. Again, I didn't write this. Flee from Babylon. Escape with your lives. Do not be destroyed in our punishment. I also had many, both Christians and our people, saying things to me like, I'm just gonna wait. The Most High said to wait. They don't really, or they didn't really understand the context of the scripture they read. I,
All right, so let's stop it right there. So, was that the case? Did they not understand the context of the scripture? Um, I did a separate video about fleeing Babylon. And so I'm not going to get off into that again, but um, I just want to just point out a couple of things here. Okay, so this is again where we want to kick in with our discernment and also wisdom from understanding what the scriptures are. Now, you can even just read those whole book of Jeremiah, and first of all, you will see that this is clearly talking about Babylon and Israel fleeing Babylon from the Babylonian captivity back then. This is for our ancestors. And the reason I say that is because this is a prophecy of Babylon's destruction. Babylon is no more, it's desolate, it's destroyed. That is what this prophecy is talking about. So we don't need to flee Babylon because it's gone. Now, if you want to say that Babylon is America now, well, there are end time prophecies for the end times. And then those end time prophecies, it tells you that the whole world is wicked. We can't escape it. So if you think America is Babylon, so is Europe, so are the various countries in Africa, so is Asia, so are the different islands. Okay? Because the wickedness is everywhere. So again, we need to be able to differentiate when we're reading these prophecies of when it's talking about who it's talking to. There can be double applications, true, but is this the case in this time? You need to let your discernment kick in with that. And then also, we also can never forget what Most High says. In the end times, He will gather and save His people. All right. Now I'm going to move on to the next point. Let me move it up a little bit farther here. Okay, right here. All right, here we go. Let's take a listen.
I have saw teachers in the past teaching on Jeremiah chapter 51 and 20, claiming Israel to be the battle axe. All I could do was shake my head because these people had thousands of followers, thousands of subscribers. I have what, 1,400? Just reached that.
Oops, sorry.
But they were flocking after these so called teachers, speaking on Jeremiah 51 and 20, telling these people that this verse was talking about Israel being used as the battle axe. So let me clear that up. Verse 20 of Jeremiah chapter 51, Cyrus is the Creator's battle axe and the sword. The Creator said, I will use you, Cyrus, says the Creator, to break nations in pieces and to destroy many kingdoms.
All right, so let's pause right there. If you're not familiar with the scripture, can you just take a second and look it up and put in the comments what your verse says, your translation says? All right, so now while you're doing that, I'm going to go to, let's go to Bible Gateway. And I put in Jeremiah 51:20 because, there are different translations. We know that they play with our book. And so you have to do a lot of cross referencing sometimes. That's part of having discernment. It's precepting, is what Most High called it. So I went to Bible Gateway. It shows all the different translations. And I just scrolled through. So you see you are my battle axe, you are my hammer and weapon of war, you are my war club, thou. King James says thou, and then the New King James says you. This one says you. Here we go. Here's one. The Amplified Bible says you, Cyrus. It has it in brackets, but it says Cyrus. All right, that's the Amplified Bible, whatever that is. We got you. Okay, there's a thou. Here's one, Babylon. Babylon. You are my hammer. I see more you. Here's another one, Babylonia. You are my hammer, my weapon of war. Here's another one, Babylon. You are my war club, my weapon of war. Here's a you, thou. Okay, so you get the point. Now, we saw one with Cyrus. Let me go through all of these. Thou. All right. So we saw the one with Cyrus. I had even went and Googled it, and I think it gave two that mentioned Cyrus. But for the most part, it says you, thou, or Babylon. Okay. So now what we would need to do is go back to Jeremiah 51 and read the full scripture to get the context. Maybe even go back to Jeremiah 50 and read the whole thing. I'm not going to do that on a video, but what I'm showing you is this is how um, you should make sure that you're getting the accurate information, that you're yourself learning. You yourself are creating that discernment and wisdom um, that the Most High will bless you with if you seek it. Okay, so get the whole context of who was Most High talking to. Was it Israel? Was it Babylon? Um, I mean, there's so much, like even right here, I noticed this. Look, here's the Tanakh. It says, what does it say? It says, you are my war club, my weapons of war. With you I clubbed nations. With you I destroyed kingdoms. With you I clubbed horse and rider. With you I clubbed chariot and driver. It's talking as if it's a past tense. Now that's the 1917 Tanakh, I believe. Yeah. That's the 1985 Tanakh. This is the 1970 Tanakh. And it says, Thou art my maul and weapons of war, and with thee I will shatter the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms, and with thee will I shatter the horse or rider. So this one is reading like it's something coming, you know. So you have to do cross referencing of these scriptures, get the context, precept it. Does it everything that the Most High says falls in line? There are no contradictions. And knowing that, you can usually come up with a a resolution. But some things also just not might not be that important. If they're not going to give you life, don't stress yourself out about it. But anyway, so I'm not really sure why the elder felt the need to put the cape on for Cyrus. Cyrus gets his just due uh, for helping to allow the temple to be built. Most High used him, and he got his points in Isaiah and Ezra. So there's no need to try to insert him anywhere else. It's interesting. I don't know if it's because he's in Africa, but you know what? I noticed, y'all. I went to YouTube for some reason. I don't know why. And I typed in who was God's battle axe. And you see who most of the people are very, very interested in who God's battle axe is. You see these people? You could tell by looking at them who's who. Even our people that's over there still look like us. Um, so I'm just saying, is this a Cyrus battle axe thing? Is that a Hamite thing? Maybe, I don't know. I do not know. But anyway, my brothers and sisters, and especially to my sisters, we know that in a Christian church, and then we have these Christian Israelites who teach that women have to have this submissive role as if they have to be spoon fed scriptures. But we have a direct connection with the Most High too. Um, Of course, there's order and everything. There's a way that we treat each other. There's respect. There's all those things that come into play in how we conduct ourselves. But when it comes to Most High, we have a direct uh, connection. I mean, do we can't forget our ancestors like Sarah, um, like Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, um, Hannah. What about Deborah? What about even those women who weren't Israelites that Most High used, like the Egyptian midwives, Rahab, Jael, we have Abigail, Ruth. I don't know if Ruth may have been Israelite, but I'm just saying that Most High dealt with the women. And so don't feel like you have to be spoon fed and just accept things at face value. You should be precepting and making sure that you're getting the accurate information so that you're not misled. All right. And with that being said, keep praying for wisdom, knowledge, discernment. Keep Torah. All praises to the Most High. I got to go. Bye. Shalom.